Anybody have any questions?
This is your second book?
This is my second book, yeah. I have another one, but it's unrelated. I'm currently writing the sequel to that one, but this is a standalone so far.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Are they both kind of in the like murder?
I'm a horror writer,
Yeah.
so horror, thriller, supernatural stuff. I grew up, my number one favorite author is Stephen King, so that should kind of tell you what my genre is. I've always been fascinated by scary things. It's my favorite. I mean, just scary movies, scary stories, everything, blood, guts. That's just my cup of tea, so to speak. So that's kind of where my mind tends to go. Yes.
Where did you get the inspiration for your characters?
Inspiration for the book or the characters?
The characters.
My characters are sort of a compilation of different life experiences I've had, different people that I know. I kind of make patchwork quilts. So one character may have maybe certain fears that I grew up with, but maybe it developed her into something that I'm not because of the way that she reacted to it. She could have a voice of somebody that I know. She could have the name of a friend. I just patchwork everything together. That's how I've done all my characters. They kind of tell me who they are based on the situation that I'm writing them in. So they just kind of come sort of naturally, I guess. Yeah.
So it reads almost like multiple personalities, but also as like multiple people.
That's kind of like me, though.
What does Tia mean exactly?
So Tia, I'll give you a little bit of a spoiler. When Joey and Eliza were little, Tia was Eliza's doll. And she is going to come, she's back there. She's sitting right behind you. So she's going to kind of come into play. And there's also a reason that the cover is a spider web. That's just another, if you're maybe arachnophobic, you don't want to pick it up. But it has something to do with their childhood and something that happened. So them going home has a lot to do with what's going to happen with the rest of the book.
Are you a plotter or a pantser?
Pantser. I think I'm a pantser. Yeah, I just the best way I can describe it is I don't sit down. I've never been one to sit down and be able to plot everything out. More so, I handed one of my kids a bag of veggie puffs, and they asked for chips and I handed them the puffs, and it was a joke, and it was very offhanded, but in my head I was like, what if somebody argued over that? And that's how the argument started, and that's how she killed him. And from then on, it just kind of became like a movie in my mind, and that's how I write. It just kind of happens, and I write down what they're telling me to write down. It sounds so bizarre, but it's very organic. That's just how I write.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yes.
Like being a pantser, did you ever get stuck at any point in the plot? Like, did you have to figure your way out of it? And if so, what did you do to kind of help get the creative juices flowing?
I did especially with my first book. This one was a little more organic for me. And what I did was, because I'm not a traditional, I'm an indie author. I publish myself, I design myself, like you were saying earlier, I print everything out by myself. So I haven't really been part of a large community, kind of a loner. I raised my kids to adulthood before I even got back into writing or allowed myself the time to write, because I didn't want to take that time away from then. So I never got into classes and all the organized stuff. So I had to actually look it up online, like what should I do if I get to a point like that. So if I get to a point in a book where I'm stuck and I know where it's going, but I don't exactly know how to get there, I'll write a very rough outline and I'll say, okay, I know I want to get to here, from here to there. So, you know, I'll plot out maybe a couple of very loose things and ideas, and sometimes it sticks and sometimes it goes completely the opposite direction, but it kind of helps a little bit to just kind of have, it's a very loose outline. I mean, outline's even a more formal word than I would give it. It's just a couple scratches on some paper, but that's kind of how I did it, and honestly, Google is your friend. So, so yeah, that's how I take care of that one. Yes.
So are all the characters on board with what happened here, or do they have a little bit conflicting opinions on murdering somebody?
Well, I think you kind of know Eliza's opinion on it, and being that it's her doll, maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe it doesn't. I think Joey has some things to work through with it. I don't think it was intended for her. Like she doesn't like surprises at all. So the fact that this happened, she's going to have to deal with it, and she's going to have to come to terms with it. I can't say that she really wanted it to happen, but at the same time, given the things that she's been through, you know, maybe a little,
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
shoot it. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.